Hello, my friends. Once again, it is your friend checking in with another video for the newly released plastic miniatures for the BattleTech Clan Invasion box set. And I just managed to break my tripod, so we're doing the whole handheld thing again. Um, Lots of fun with that. Totally didn't rage for a few seconds on that one. But in any event, we're ready to continue here. Figure we'll go a little bit of the lighter weight to heavier weight, and we'll begin with the miniatures that came out of the main Clan Invasion box set. Starting with this little number here. Here we have the 35-ton adder. Very nice little update to the classic design. I really like those PPC arms. Giving it the once over a little bit earlier. Let's see if we can get a little bit of a better focus there. Even without, though, pretty obvious, kind of the first heavy-duty mold line I've yet to run into. Looks like it's on the middle of both legs here. Come on now. As you can see there, it's on fairly flat surfaces. It shouldn't be overly difficult to file down. I certainly think the plastic is hard enough to let you get away with it. The adder here is a Clan Star adder design. It's a 6.9. It has one of the rare instances of actually hardwired equipment, and that's a flamer, a flamethrower. Gives it some solid anti-infantry ability at closer range. Its main claim to fame, those arms. Those are both ERPPCs tied into a targeting computer. It's not the quickest light mech out there. It's a 6.9. But that's certainly enough to help it get into some decent spots to put those heavy-hitting energy weapons to work as far as some long-range damage dealing. This is one of the mechs I've never really owned. I don't have much experience with, but certainly on paper they're kind of punching well above their weight. The only thing that would make it better, jump jets, the Wolves actually follow through with that with a successor design called the Pouncer. Adds 5 tons, but it adds jump capability as well, so it can more easily get into some of those juicy sniping spots there. So, otherwise, as you can see, nice crisp details, very beautiful. Yeah, that's the adder, the lightest of the box set. The next unit we have is this little number here, the Grendel, or the Mongrel as it's also known. Well, first and foremost, it's pretty much what we can expect at this point from these new plastic miniatures. Detail is crisp, looking very good. I'm not really seeing anything leaping out at me as far as mold lines go. It's a 45-ton medium. The TROs note it was frequently encountered kind of leading light stars, recon, and striker units. And it's certainly well suited for that role. The primary configuration here is an ER large laser, I believe an ER small laser, Streak SRM6, and then 3 ER medium lasers. It is I believe a 7-11-7 movement profile, so it can get where it needs to be pretty quickly and pretty easily. Armor is pretty decent as well. Rear torso and head aside, I don't think there's a facing on it that can't shrug off a Gauss rifle strike before you need to start worrying about armor. As far as introductory box set goes, I'm not the biggest fan of this mech being included. This design was noted as being first encountered during the Battle of Tuckayid, which was May of 3052. and it was seen with the units of Clan Diamond Shark and Clan Smoke Jaguar. If you're looking to represent forces from, the very beginning of the clan invasion, which was very late 3049, kind of beginning of 3050 was the kind of kickoff to that, that represents a little bit of a problem. It certainly wouldn't be impossible to encounter one of these. I might, invent something along the lines of, either immediately prior to departing the clan homeworlds or somewhere along the invasion corridor from the corridor, enunciate, from the clan homeworlds to the inner sphere. Your chosen clan comes across, a Diamond Shark merchant convoy, trial for, the contents of a dropship, including, an early prototype, or a pre-production model Grendel, which they win. That's why it's present in the forces. The loss of said prototype or pre-production model might be the reason why you don't see any more for, a couple of years. Makes sense to me. Certainly not unreasonable, but still, it's kind of the odd man out as far as the Omni-Mech selected for the introductory box set. So yeah, your mileage may of course vary, but I tend to be a little bit anal retentive about such things. The next one we have is one that's very near and dear to my heart, the Nova, or the Blackhawk as the Inner Sphere called it. This is a 50-ton Omni-Mech, I believe originally designed by the Hell's Horses. First saw action in the operation that put the Fire Mandrill Kindra Smythe Jewel into the ground. This was an early Omni-Mech, standard armor, standard internal structure, which actually made it a prime choice for the Inner Sphere to reverse engineer into a heavy mech, one of their first Omni-Mechs called the Blackhawk KU. But this is a 585 movement profile. It's got a pretty effective armor belt for a 50-ton medium. Each one of those arms is 6 extended range medium lasers. So it's got a fairly high amount of punch to it, combined with some good mobility thanks to the jump jets and pretty respectable armor profile. These apparently become a little bit rarer as the years go on. It's kind of a, one of the older Omni-Mech classes. Its factory lines always manage to be retooled into other things. As far as quality of the sculpt goes, yeah, I'm not really seeing much. Maybe a little bit of a mold line action going on that left shoulder. Not so much the right shoulder there. It's got that little bit of a upwards tilt, which I'm very reliably told is more of a manufacturing error than anything. So the old hair dryer technique with the cold water should set you straight pretty easily here. Yeah, that's looking real good. It's a very nice update to the classic design. Next we have kind of the gold standard, the poster boy of the clan invasion, if you will. The 75-ton Timberwolf, or the Mad Cat, as it was known due to its resemblance as a cross between both the Marauder and the Catapult when it was first encountered. That's a good looking mech. Always will be to me. This is a Clan Wolf heavy design. Came out, I think, middle of the 30th century as a successor to the first generation Woodsman Omni-Mech. This is a 5'8" movement profile, very respectably armored. The armament consists of 2 LRM-20s on the shoulders there. Each arm has an extended range medium and large laser, and the torso has, I believe, 2 machine guns and a medium pulse laser as well. These are kind of the gold standard as far as what everyone else was trying to go for their heavy mechs. They're kind of the symbol of clan technological superiority for good reason. Personal note, I always delight in seeing these in the colors of the Crusader clans, because the Wolves pretty jealously guarded production of their Timberwolves. Really only ever traded some away on special occasions, and that kind of only leaves combat salvage and Isorla for everyone else to get their hands on these. So chances are you see a Jade Falcon, a Smoke Jaguar, etc., etc. Timberwolf, the Wolves gave that up the hard way, which I always enjoy. Last for the introductory box set, we have the 95-ton Executioner, or the Gladiator, as it was known in the Inner Sphere. It's an interesting assault omni-mech. It's 95 tons, very well armored. I think, most of it is easily able to shrug off a couple of Gauss rounds. Not quite a double tap from a Ultra Autocannon 20, but that's not exactly a black mark against it. This was originally a Ghost Bear design, had a somewhat tumultuous development as they tried to combine this with the Kodiak, which is a 100-ton clan battle mech design. They wanted to make an Omni Totem. The Bears eventually had to bow out to the obvious, say, this isn't working. So they split it out into a second line assault mech, which became the Kodiak, and then their 95-ton Omni mech. They jealously guarded this thing for years. It was actually my boys, the Smoke Jaguars, who finally broke their grip on it, after which point you started to see these in the Taumans of every clan. Other than the Bears, who used this religiously, it was said that only Clan Burrock and Clan Smoke Jaguar kind of knew what to do with a 464 assault omni-mech that also had mask on it, Myomer acceleration signal circuitry, which could actually boost it up to a 6-8 movement profile, if you were willing to run the chance of critting your engine based on how long you had the mask engaged for. Armament-wise, right arm there is a couple of ER large lasers. There are a pair of machine guns in the torso. That left arm is a Gauss rifle. These are pretty effective designs. I at least anyways can't say I really have seen a lot of them in my limited time. But all in all, I mean, the sculpt is lovely. It's got kind of that grinning death's head visage there, very much like the AS-7D Atlas. It looks big, it looks chunky, it looks like an assault mech in the truest sense, which I certainly enjoy quite a bit. And then the only other contents as far as miniatures go that came with the box set is these. Let's see what my camera thinks of these. Not too bad. Focus. Elementals. If you're from the FedCom, you call them Toads. If you're from Free Rasselhag, you call them Mara. If you're from the Combine, you refer to them as Oni. However you call them, these are the 1-ton suits that made infantry combat against the clans a very deadly proposition. They're capable of being mechanized on omni-mechs, meaning they can literally hitch a ride with some of your lighter, faster designs. or even your heavier, slower designs. On their own, they have a ground movement speed of 1, but they can jump 3 hexes, as those 2 in the back are very clearly demonstrating. These are substantially smaller than the previous elemental sculpts that we got in metal from Iron Wind Metals and Ralpartha before them. I really think dry brushing is going to be my best friend. I'm going to have the brush pick out the details for me. You get 2 points of these, 2 points of 5. So if you're a glass half full kind of guy, you get a reinforced star in the introductory set. If you're a glass half empty kind of guy, your Clan Nova has lost 3 points of elemental somewhere along the line. But those are good little sculpts, very detailed, surprisingly detailed. Let's get that in next, because we're going to flip the script a little bit, and we're going to go to some Inner Sphere mechs, including the the Inner Sphere Command Lance, which includes from lightest to heaviest, starting with a Stinger. Stingers are absolutely dirt common light mechs. They'll never win any contest for best armored or best armed, but they represent one of the so-called bug trio. The Stinger, the Wasp, and the Locust, which were manufactured far and wide in massive numbers, starting from the Age of War all the way through to the present. As you can see, they, it might just be me, but they seem to have retained some elements, or many elements, of the Robotech / Macross VF1 Valkyrie, which the design was originally based off of, and that whole unseen mess. So I like to think of this as they're kind of thumbing their nose a little bit at the dreaded Harmony Gold. But there is the Stinger. Next in the Command Lance, you have another light mech design, the Valkyrie. And some cat hair there. Let's get rid of that. This is another light design. It's on the slower side. It's actually a fire support design. What you're seeing there in the left torso is an LRM-10. What is a Valkyrie? A 585, I believe. It's got a medium laser there, very strongly associated with House Davian, the Federated Sons. They have, I think, at least one factory that was running all through the Succession Wars, putting these continually into the field. And I believe it also saw some use in the Lyran half of the Federated Commonwealth as well. Next, we have another one of the classics return to us here. The Archer. Its claim to fame, those big ol' LRM racks on the shoulders, each a pair of LRM 20s. Also has a quartet of medium lasers to defend itself with. Kind of the bog standard, or I should say the gold standard as far as fire support units go in the Inner Sphere. I want to say something like 100,000 of these were made from their introduction in the Age of War through to the Star League and into the present. These are one of the most common heavy mechs out there, I'm reasonably sure. Some famous users include Jamie Wolf of Wolf's Dragoons and Morgan Kell of the Kellhounds. Made their names piloting these heavy battle mechs. And then a design that we've kind of already seen with these humble videos of mine, but this is the Marauder sculpt that comes in the Command Lance, which I'm sure most people will be seeing at some point or other. Again, very worthy interpretation of that old Glog officer's pod design. These were kind of well represented as kind of one of the dread battle mech designs of the Succession Wars. You saw a Marauder coming your way, you had problems. The Grey Death series in particular made it very clear when a Marauder was sighted in the enemy forces, it was always kind of an oh shit moment. Whether that was Hasid Rickle on Trell 1 there in the first book, or whether it was a handful of them that appeared amongst the DCMS forces on Verthandi in the second book, these were kind of always something to be respected. 2 PPCs, 2 medium lasers, and an AC-5 with a pretty thick armor belt means that they were generally going to be around to stay in a battle, as well as being able to dish out very fair amounts of damage while they were there doing it. Maybe a slight amount of bending. There we go. Let's focus a little bit on that barrel. It's largely straight, but I kind of played with it a little bit before the video. It looks about 95% right to me. I could probably live with that. But it's got that cool mid-stride effect going. I really like this. This has always been a popular mech. One of the poster children, if you will, of the certainly early Battletech, and probably right on through to the current. And then lastly for us here, there's also the Battle Lance. And going lightest to heaviest once again, we have the Wasp, another member of the Bug Trio. You're probably noticing some similarities with the Stinger. As far as design goes, that is certainly intentional because they both kind of were derived from the same artistic source. Once again, though, very worthy update here. See if we can get the light to catch on some of the details. Not really seeing much by way of manufacturing flaws. These are what? Medium laser and I believe an SRM-2. They are very popular reconnaissance mechs. Star League made these, again, by the thousands. Very widespread, very popular. You'll find them anywhere from the inner sphere to the periphery and beyond. There's really no force that wouldn't be able to easily justify a Wasp in it. Next, we have the Phoenix Hawk. Probably one of the gold standard medium battle mechs of certainly the 3025 era. Again, nice sharp details here. As you can probably tell by those big old backpack looking jump jets, it's jump capable. Large laser, 2 medium lasers, 2 machine guns I believe are the standard armament. Reasonably speedy, jump capable. You typically see Phoenix Hawk standing in line with other such worthies as the Shadow Hawk, the Griffin, the Wolverine. I can't get over how good these look though. Man, oh man, I love these. It's got a little bit of the off-kilter look. I'm a stickler for having my mech miniatures kind of facing perfectly perpendicular to the whatever facing on the hex base. I consider to be the front, but that's, that's personal quibble at best. But as you can see, this is a beautiful, beautiful mech. I can't wait for these to hit retail. I'll certainly be going out to buy more of these box sets. Next, we have the Rifleman. This barely edges into the heavy mech category. Very notoriously associated with an anti-aircraft role. largely due to that the targeting and tracking system, which is represented by that kind of it's not a radar dish, it's not a radar dome. What the hell would you call that? I don't know. That's its radar. Notoriously thinly armored, though. You do not put riflemen on the front lines of combat. Rather, they kind of hang back as a direct fire support unit with their twin AC5s and their twin large lasers. I believe they also carry a pair of medium lasers for self-defense, but chances are, if anything is getting close enough where those mediums need to start coming into play, you've already got some major problems on your hands. Now, with these big long barrels, I am delighted by how straight they're coming out of the box here. I didn't do anything to this miniature. This is how it came out of the box. It looks beautiful. It's got some heft to it. It looks meaty. I love this a lot. Shame about the armor, though. And then lastly for today, we have a very near and dear battle mech, I think most fans' hearts, the Warhammer, or the Whammer, or Whammy, if you will. This is a 70-ton heavy battle mech design, best known for those 2 PPCs that it brings to the fight. It's also got a smattering of secondary armament in the torsos. Medium laser, small laser, machine gun, an SRM-6 on the torso there, and then that's, I think, a giant spotlight. So now the light is starting to play a little bit of havoc. It in the Northeast here, it snowed today. Look at that. The camera will focus. It's not even freaking Halloween. So there's plenty of reflectivity going on outside to screw with my lighting here. And now that we focused on that, there we go. And anyways, the Warhammer, one of the older battle mech designs out there. Did these see service during the reunification war? I believe they did. But these were another unit that were built by the 1000. One of the more common heavy mechs out there. Not the quickest. They've got I believe a 4.6 movement profile. Respectably armored, but they're best known for that heavy-duty punch that they bring, especially at longer ranges. But they can certainly bat cleanup at closer ranges after they've used those PPCs to soften up some targets here. Let's get some focus here, please. There we go. So yeah, that's what maybe a slight amount of warpage going on with those. Certainly the left PPC barrel. Not so much the right, but again, the hairdryer will solve that pretty easily. Very rarely have I done anything to these mechs prior to putting them on camera here. These are all as they came out of the box for me. And again, I mean, to echo earlier videos, Catalyst Game Labs, they're knocking it out of the park with these. I can't wait to see the wave of popularity that comes up once these start entering into mainstream retail distribution. There's going to be a lot of new players with a lot of good-looking mechs to play this game we all love. So thanks for joining me here on this snowy Friday, and hope everyone's well, and we'll catch you the next time. Guys, thanks a lot.